Welcome to North of Gotham. My name is Ryan. I read a lot of stuff in June. I've got a lot of thoughts about the stuff I read in June. So I thought you could hang out with me while I talk about the stuff that I read in June. First up, Batman. Matt Fraction, Volume 1 was so freaking good. So happy I read this. It's a really enjoyable story. The artwork was fantastic. It's full of fun covers like this with Batman gadgets that I really enjoyed. It has like a fun cartoon vibe. Honestly, it kind of gave me the feeling of when I was a kid watching cartoons. Nothing was too dark, nothing was too over the top cheery. It had like a nice combination of a little childish fun, but adult content as well. There was a lot of really incredible covers like this one here with Batman and Robin on the front. Something that was really fun that I loved was there was a lot of times where Batman would activate some gadgets, like this up here. There'd be a little pop-up just explaining what the gadget is, what it does, how it activates. It's pretty cool. Again, it gave it that gave it like a video game vibe, like in Batman, when you switch items or activate something, a little pop-up comes on the screen. Uh, I really like this. It gave you a cliffhanger. It was just really fun, man. Like, honestly, if you haven't read Batman in a while, I would definitely suggest you got to pick this up. You got to read it. I can't wait for the next trade. Nightwing Death Traps, Volume 2 by Dan Waters. This one was good. The first volume, in my opinion, was a lot stronger. This one had some art changes that I didn't love when they kind of switched back to the more typical art style. When you read it, you'll know what I mean. It was much more enjoyable for my taste. But when they got back on the normal artwork, so there's stuff like this here that I thought looked really good. Nightwing's got a new suit for a little bit, which was pretty awesome. But they did do a lot of the kind of, what was it, fourth or fifth dimension stuff where there's weird sci-fi things happening. There's nothing wrong with it, but the first volume, it was very like street level crime, and we're continuing that story into this one. But then there's like this little detour mixing it in with the weird sci-fi stuff. So it was a little bit jarring while I'm still on that arc, wanting to finish that story to mix all this stuff in the middle. So I liked it. Again, it wasn't the best. It wasn't bad by any means. I still enjoyed it. Like the whole way through, it was still good. It was just the first one really set it up for my taste a lot stronger than what this one was. I'm still going to keep picking this up. I'm going to get volume 3 whenever that comes out. And I'm sure it's going to be good. But I'm hoping we get back to kind of where we were in that first one. I really want to see where the story goes. Batman and Robin, The Gotham Cycle, Volume 2 by Philip Kennedy Johnson. So good. Honestly, this whole story is fantastic. I read the first volume. I liked it. It's very detective noir, mystery, horror. Honestly, even the previous Batman and Robin run by Joshua Williamson is fantastic. It explores a lot of the father-son relationship between Bruce Wayne and Damian Wayne. I really think this might be one of the most slept on series. I don't hear anybody talking about it on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube. Maybe there is, I'm just not seeing it. But this is a really fantastic read. Batgirl, Volume 2, Bloodlines. This one is by Tate Brombill. Brombell. I'm sorry, Tate. Probably said it wrong. I'm sorry. Forgive me. But I'm so on this series so far. I like the art in the series. The story in the first volume, I liked parts of it. It was enough to keep me interested to try volume 2. However, this one really focuses on Lady Shiva's story a lot. Um, Going into the first one, I don't really know anything about Cassandra Cain, Batgirl. So this was a get to know the character. And in the first one, they did an okay job of letting me get to know who she is and how she acts. But then the second one, it's all just about her mom, 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 momity, mom, mom, mom. And I wanted to get to know more of Batgirl, not so much of her mom. Um, but it is what it is. Am I going to pick up volume three? I don't know that there was enough in here to make me want to keep going. Maybe later down the road, but TBR is so big and you only got so much money. I'm probably going to shelf it for now and see if I want to come back to it later. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, the deluxe edition. This one right here is the big topic of conversation with everybody. Tom King's famous or infamous story. I'm not sure which one you would go with at this point. But right now, with the Supergirl movie out, everybody's reading it, everybody's talking about the movie, everybody's talking about the book, and I enjoyed it. It was a good story. There was some great emotional moments. Tom King does a good job of getting you invested into these characters. But the real winner is some of this art and covers. Like, that is beautiful. I'm on record talking about the use of colors. Like, the use of colors are incredible. Um, and then Tom King does his narration style, which, for instance, in Wonder Woman, I really enjoy. But this one, there's a ton of narration. It was good. It's not the epic story for me that everybody talks about, but it was good. It was an enjoyable story. This one is Absolute Batman, Volume 2, Abomination by Scott Snyder. If you haven't read any of this stuff yet, I'm really surprised because it seems that everybody has read them. Feels like I'm the last person to read them. I read volume one when that came out. Volume two did not disappoint. Super incredible. A lot of dark stuff in here. Like, honestly, not spoiling anything, but Bruce gets messed up, and a lot of other people get messed up in this book too. But like the art is fantastic. I say that a lot. I'm a sucker for good art. Like, the story focuses around, Batman versus Bane and their interactions. Like, look at this stuff. Super cool. This one really continues to be just such a interesting version of Batman. The whole Absolute line as a whole, but Batman's especially. Scott Snyder just crushing it. Like, this isn't his first time trying to reinvent Batman, but this time, boy, did they really go all out on Batman. Like, this makes Bruce feel very different than your typical Bruce Wayne. So this is a keeper, staying on the pull list. Can't wait for volume 3. Absolute Wonder Woman, volume 2, As My Mother's Made Me by Kelly Thompson. Again, absolute line is absolutely crushing it. I can't decide if I like Absolute Batman or Absolute Wonder Woman more, but both of them amazing. So Absolute Wonder Woman, the first one, again, was a great introduction to this new version of Wonder Woman, and the new powers she has. She's got a skeleton horse and sword. This one keeps the mythology going. The way they have her interacting with gods and other mythological things, it's really fun. It's a little bit darker for Wonder Woman than it would typically be. Um, but what they did a great job, I think, of, mainline Wonder Woman and this Wonder Woman, she's just so likable. How can you not like her? Again, I'm pretty easy to please. Artwork, this is so fun, so fantastic. I really enjoy the magic system in this version of Wonder Woman. Uh, of course, all magic is phony, but I don't know. It doesn't feel too crazy, even though she's doing crazy over the top things, but it's just something about the way she does it. She's got her little magic bag that she uses. It's just really fun. Like I like it. Like there's nothing to not like here. Like if you have it, if you're not reading Absolute Wonder Woman, you got to do it. Like it's so good. Absolute Green Lantern Volume 1 Without Fear by Al Ewing. This was good, man. I'm not as excited about it as some of the others, but artwork is giving anime vibes. Super enjoyable. Reading this a lot of the time made me think I'm reading some Dragon Ball Z manga. It's kind of a more of a mystery story, so I enjoyed that. It felt a little bit different again than a lot of the comic books I read. It kind of gave me indie comic book vibes. And, some people that's a good thing, some people it's a bad thing. For me, it was a really good thing. Like it didn't feel like a typical DC book. So it really stands out on its own, I think. I ordered the next volume, so I'm definitely excited to read volume 2. Uh, yeah, there's a lot of interesting thing. I don't know a ton of Green Lantern lore, but this really didn't feel like I need to know anything. And I think even if you don't know anything about Green Lantern, it might even be more interesting. I'm not sure. What do you think? Have you read Green Lantern, or have you not read any Green Lantern, but you read this? Are you a Green Lantern expert? Let me know what you think. Absolute Martian Manhunter, Volume 1, Martian Vision by Dennis Camp. Okay. If you haven't read it, if you have read it, if you've heard stuff about it, like, just look at the art. This thing is a trip and a half. Like, look at some of this color use. Like, you know, it's a trip, is the best way that I can explain it. The main character works for the government, doesn't know if he's going crazy or not, trying to solve a mystery while trying to keep it together. He's trying to keep his family together. This character's having a hard time. He's having a rough go. Gets banged up pretty good in here. Definitely a good read. I enjoyed it. Again, talking about TBR, my TBR is big, and finances only go so far for buying a lot of stuff. I have decided to not read volume 2 just because for me, I like the story, but I didn't feel like I have to keep reading the story. When this comes out in like an omnibus or deluxe editions, I'll probably pick it up then. But on the trades for now, I'm going to hold off for the next one. Absolute Flash. Again, like everything else, really, really good. This one, didn't love it. This one felt kind of more like a traditional superhero story. Flash is different, absolutely. He's absolute Flash, but it didn't feel as crazy of a change to the character compared to like Absolute Batman or Absolute Wonder Woman or Absolute Green Lantern or Absolute Martian Manhunter, but it's still good. I think I like it maybe more than the mainline Flash has been. I haven't read the current run that started, so I don't know, but definitely it's more interesting than the previous run of Flash for me. Art is good, no complaints. There's some good, interesting changes to the rogue gallery as well. Like all Flash stories, they do a good job of all the speed shots. But for me, it wasn't exciting enough to want to keep reading. Again, probably when it comes out in an omnibus or something, I'll pick it up then. I'm not going to keep going on this one right now. Again, I don't have any problems with it. I liked it. I had a good time with it, but I wasn't thinking about it afterwards. It was just kind of, okay, it was a superhero story. Maybe volume 2, I think they're going to volume 3 right now, but maybe volume 2 it ramps up, I'm not sure, or speeds up. But I'm going to call it quits for now on Absolute Flash. Marvel Comics, I read Eddie Brock Carnage by Charles Soule. How do you pronounce it? Somebody teach me. How do you pronounce it? I'm sorry. Again, I'm terrible with names. I'm a huge symbiote guy, so that's why I wanted to pick these up. I collect a lot of the symbiote stuff, particularly Venom runs in omnibus form. That's my go-to. I don't do a ton of Marvel. But when I do Venom. I do Venom. I don't know how to do that voice. That's why I'm not an actor. This one is a really interesting concept. You know, it's Eddie Brock has bonded with the Carnage symbiote, so he's having this inner battle of trying to control Carnage, but Carnage is a psycho, so easier said than done. So they have this kind of devil angel relationship happening. Um, Interesting story. I think it does need a little more time to cook. Wasn't the most interesting story, but there was enough to hook me to want to keep going. Barely enough to keep me wanting to go to the next one, but there was enough. Artwork, I wasn't a huge fan of the ton of the artwork. Um, sometimes it has like, I don't know, for me, like a 3D modeling kind of feeling, and it's just not my preference. Nothing is bad. But my biggest thing that I think I would have enjoyed more out of this is honestly if they went harder on the story between Carnage and Eddie Brock. Like it is centered around this relationship, but I think they could have went further. Turned the volume knob up a little bit, made it a little crazier, a little more violent. So I did pick up volume 2, and I'm going to read that, and I'm hoping that's what happens. I want these two to go nuts. Like I want this to be a bloody battle through and through. Image Comics. I picked up Ghost Pepper Volume 1, Flavors of Ash by Ludo Lulabi. I'm sorry. This is gonna be a reoccurring theme. People, teach me. Talk to me about comics, but teach me how to read people's names at the same time, please. This is cool. This is fun. Again, I guess this is like a common trend that's happening of having like anime manga vibes. This one is very apocalyptic world feel to it, a lot of robotics happening. Artwork is super fun. It's your typical kind of manga story. Hero is OP, and he's mysterious, and we don't quite know what happened, but we're slowly getting to know what happened before this started, why things are the way they are, and we're slowly figuring out why he's so OP. In typical manga. Um, I think, okay, so two things. One, I think this might be better as an anime. Not that it's not good here, it's still good here. You're gonna have fun here. But just the pacing and the way things go, I think would be really suited to have voice actors and music, the things that you would get from an animation that you wouldn't get from reading it. I'm a pretty, imaginative and visual person, so I can kind of hear a lot of the things in my head as they're happening. So good on the artist and the writer, the creative team for being able to convey it in a way that I can do that. But I really think this would be great watching on TV. Um, as a collector and just someone that likes comics, and this whole thing, I do not get any comic covers. Why do I not have comic covers? I want the covers. Honestly, everybody that collects comics, covers are one of the best things, the most interesting things. Who doesn't want to see the covers? Why is there no covers? This is a continuous story that they've made it, which is really cool that you can read this straight through. And honestly, I can't tell when the breaks happen between issue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I want to see the covers. Give me the art. I want it. I will happily have a break in the story to have the comic covers. Gimme, 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 gimme. I want it. Why aren't you including it? There's other series that do this as well. I hate it. Stop it. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I'm undecided still if I want to pick up the next volume. Spawn, Battle for the Throne, Part 1, by Rory McConville. I give up trying to say names. I'm just gonna say by Rory. My beloved Spawn. I have been collecting Spawn as long as I can remember. Spawn was one of my books that got me started on comics when I was a kid. Sometimes Spawn is not so good. Sometimes Spawn is great. This one, I think, is decent. This one is doing a pretty good job of building the story and moving along and getting us where we need to go. You know, sometimes I find Spawn can get a little confusing. This one, I think, does a good job of keeping on track. Art, I don't need to talk about art. It's Spawn. The art is fantastic. Spawn's art is always amazing. I don't know that I've ever read an issue of Spawn where I didn't love the art. That's part of what keeps me coming back. I'm a sucker for skulls, chains, big capes. Basically, everything Todd McFarlane wanted to sell me on things that just look cool is completely right. I was sold on it, just looks cool. To this day, I'm still buying it because it looks cool. But if you haven't read Spawn in a little while, as long as you know a little bit of what's happening in the Spawn universe currently, then I think you could pick this up if you haven't read everything that's happening lately. The only thing that I think you would need to know about is the dead zones. So a simple search, you can learn about the dead zones. And after you know about that, I think you could get into this and enjoy it. And it's a good place because I feel like the big stuff is going to happen soon, but this is a good spot to kind of get back into Spawn. Violator, the 1994 collection. So this is the OG Violator story that came out by Alan Moore. Like Alan Moore, Violator story from the 90s. I got this a while ago. You know, I read it when it came out. It was the last time in the 90s. So obviously I didn't remember the story. It's not the most incredible story, but it's just a fun, nonsense, bloody Violator story. It's kind of one of those things. It's kind of like I would compare it to like Savage Dragon if you've ever read that. It's just fun. There's nothing groundbreaking. It's just a bloody good time, as they say. And if you read it, it's not really a spoiler, but something to look at. As you can see on Violator's hand, there is a head that's on his hand. So Alan Moore decided, or the artist decided, maybe it's Alan Moore. I wonder who it was. If it was his idea or the artist. But Violator punches a guy and gets his head stuck on his arm. And they basically keep it there for all these issues throughout everything he's doing. It's just a head stuck on his arm. And honestly, as the big child that I am, I just thought it was hilarious that they kept that going throughout the whole thing. So if you've never read this, it's not expensive, I don't think. You can go and check it out. It's just a good time. Okay, guys, those were my thoughts on all those books. If you hung around this long, thank you so much. I know that was a ton of rambling about a ton of books. Honestly, I had a lot of spare time this June, so I did get to read a lot. I read a lot. Normally, I wouldn't get to read that much, but bonus points for me. I got to enjoy my spare time by reading tons of comic books. Did you read as much as I did? Did you read less than I did? What did you read? I want to hear all those things. Because again, if you don't know me, my name is Ryan. You're watching North of Gotham. And my mission for this whole YouTube and social media thing is honestly just trying to find people love comics, talk about comics. I also do, as you can see in the background here, I do read a lot of non-comics as well, particularly fantasy and sci-fi. So, you know, that's what the mission of this. For me, I just wanted to, I'm active in the comic book community on YouTube and on Instagram and TikTok. You can find me at North of Gotham and all those places. But that's all I'm trying to do. I just want to get to know people more and find more friends to talk about comic books. So I thought this would be a great way to do that. So thanks for hanging out with me, guys, talking comics, putting up with me while I talk about all my cool stuff. And I can't wait to see you again the next time. Cheers.